Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast with your host, Chris. I am always that guy. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 221 of the podcast. I have a great guest for you today. Of course, as always, if you'd like to keep up with everything that I do, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, both at Casting for Two. Send me an email at castingfor2@gmail.com. Or even check out the other podcasts that I do with the always beautiful, lovely, talented, amazing, everything about this person is wonderful, Megan Johnson over at tipsywriter.com. And you can do that on sundaybrunchpod.com or any other place that podcasts are available on. And of course, Comic Bento and the Spensa Box are both sponsors of the podcast. Sign up for any of their services. Links are in the description. Just make sure you use the promo code CASTING2. That's the word casting and the number 2. They both, same one at wherever you go. So go do that. Okay. My guest today is a wonderful guest. I had such a fun time chatting with him. His name is Mike Ostroski. He's on Henry Danger and a little show called Fuller House. And he's just a wonderful guy. Very pleasant chat. Honestly, I got it. Mike, I know you're listening right now. You're welcome back anytime you want. We got to get you back. So you have an open invitation. And it was just... He has Breaking Bad stories. I also forgot about how he was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's another one of my favorite shows. I should have asked him about that. I'm dumb. It's my fault. Mike, it's my fault. It's not you. It's me. No, I'm not killing time, but I guess I should get into this episode. So everybody sit back, relax, and Chris, cue the music, please. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it looks... It says that earpiece is on, but it's not. That's weird. Huh. There. Huh? Is that...
Yeah, it sounds a little bit better, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah. You're on a speakerphone on Skype on my cell phone. Should I just put in some earbuds? Or is this okay? Is this too echoey?
No, this is great. Yeah, this works.
All right, cool.
I appreciate you, your concern for the call.
Oh, yeah. No, I just didn't know if you wanted to, Skype or audio Skype. I didn't know, and so I just, yeah.
There's so many times when I've talked to people, and, I like a nice quiet room. But some people are like, hey, let me go out on a crowded street. Or, you know what? I think I'm going to do my dishes right now because this is the only time I can do my dishes.
Yeah, I'm going to pay you respect.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. How is your morning going so far?
It's going great. Man. Thank you. How about you?
Not bad. No, I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to watch Blade Runner tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what sounds the most exciting thing to do?
In life in general, or just in my evening?
Yeah, with your evening. I think you should do it.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, that's probably the most exciting thing. That it's either that or watch old monster movies, but. Okay. I could do that anytime because I have the monster movies.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Go, man.
All right. It's official. I'm going.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of going, I I saw, I think it was on Instagram that you just came back from Portland?
Yeah, yes, that is correct.
And is that your home?
It was at one point in my life. I grew up in Oregon.
Oh, that's so cool.
I love Oregon so much, and I hadn't been to Oregon in maybe 2 years. So I went for my friend's wedding and made a huge trip out of it. And I never spent that much time in Oregon, or sorry, in Portland. It was just
Right.
always, Portland is where all the acting stuff is.
Yeah.
So I would just go up there for quick jobs and then just come back to
Oh,
Salem. So yeah, I decided to stay there for a couple days.
that's awesome. I just got excited because my wife and I are going to go up there in a few weeks,
Oh, okay.
just to take a trip for fun. And we are researching, like we're researching Portland. So what do you recommend?
So definitely for sure. Now, do you have little ones?
No, no.
Okay. I was gonna recommend OMSI. It's a museum.
Oh,
Well, they have a planetarium side that would be kind of cool.
that's awesome.
But yeah, OMSI's great. That's I went to OMSI as well when I was there. For sure, Powell's. But
Owls.
yeah, it's a 3-level bookstore. So if you like books and or words, then you'll feel
Yeah,
right at home.
excellent.
I'm
That's on
trying
the
to
list.
I'm trying to think what else to do. Yeah, no, it's you just I'm one of those people that likes to walk around.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, and so I would just walk around downtown and just see what kind of trouble you can get into.
Great,
So
great.
so yeah,
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just excited about the trip, and I noticed that, and but yeah, good.
yeah, yeah. So obviously this is a pretty loose show.
Okay.
We can talk about whatever we want. But for you, I would really like to know when you caught the acting bug.
Okay, I think there were two doors that I walked through. The first one was uh, I just was always interested. I always thought it was fun to act, like school plays, just what the public school would do. I was like, I'd love to do that.
Hmm.
But the I'm from a small town in Ohio, Ashland, Ohio, and it was great growing up there. And it's coincidentally it's the area is where Shawshank Redemption was shot.
Oh, okay.
So just to give you a visual of what it looks like,
Right.
and uh, the school, the city has the junior high at the time was a large building. So there were 6 elementary schools, and then you moved to a singular junior high that was huge and had a big auditorium in it. Then you would go to the high school. That's kind of a common migration pattern of small town schools.
Right.
And so the high school, when they would put on a musical, they would often perform it back at the junior high auditorium space because it was the largest one, the largest space. And what they would do to give themselves an audience for their dress rehearsal was to invite the elementary schools for a field trip today
Hmm.
to bus over to the junior high to watch their dress rehearsal. And they were doing The Sound of Music. And I don't know, 6th grade, and I'm sitting in the audience. And I think Maria is singing to me, is what I think. Like
Yeah.
the way that she's looking, because she's looking out into an audience and I'm like in her eyesight, but
Uh-huh.
she's probably looking above me or to the side of me or I have no idea. But to my untrained eyes, it was this magical moment of this person on stage looking directly at me, I thought, and singing to me. And that was inexplicably astonishing. Like I didn't
Hmm.
have the words to describe that. I mean, I guess it's chills, right? But
Yeah.
something like that. So that was the first bug, and then the second bug was I then made it to high school, and we were doing it was sophomore year, and we were doing Fiddler on the Roof, like you do, right?
Right. Right.
And we were rehearsing it, and it was I think after rehearsal in the evening, back at that same auditorium, but it was on the other side now. I was on stage looking out into the audience and I call them lightning moments where like you have a little aha or you have a little quiet, deep feeling of whatever is true in that moment, I guess. And I just had this singular, calm feeling looking at that, oh, this is what I want to do. Um, it was not as dramatic as the first aha in sixth. It was really quiet but it was clear. It was cool, and I'll never forget both of those. So that's the answer.
Nice. And so, just because I'm wondering, was the junior high the newest of the schools?
No, it was actually the oldest.
Okay, it's just it's puzzling my mind that it was the biggest. But I guess you gotta house 6 elementary schools, so I guess that makes sense.
Well, I guess maybe how it's translating in my mind is that the performance space was the biggest.
Oh, okay. All right.
Maybe that's what I mean. And it's a good point that you bring up. Yeah, like maybe square footage, it actually was smaller than the high school. That makes sense.
Mike, I want the square footage right now. Get me the plans.
It's actually demolished now. I think they built a new one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad.
Anyways, but yeah, I see your point. That's fine.
No, I think it's funny that I guess for people in drama in high school, there's a rite of passage that you have to put on Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
Because my dad was a drama guy, and he told me that he did that. But he grew up in a Mexican area.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, it's man, it's so good. I mean, it's so good on so many levels. Just people trying to tell stories that maybe they're not absolutely like on paper suited for. You learn so much. It's so good.
Nice. Now, so we're gonna flash forward a lot.
Okay.
Because I gotta ask you about Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, I haven't seen the show since the very last episode, since that premiered. But I love Breaking Bad. Huge fan of Breaking Bad. My buddy went to New Mexico where they shot it, and brought me back one of the bags of meth, like the rock candy, and I thought that was great.
The rock candy. Yeah.
What was it like? First of all, who were you acting with in Breaking Bad? On that
okay.
Day?
It was a scene. And I guess spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it, I guess. But do you remember the scene where they shift the first lab underneath the dry cleaner? I guess the cleaning facility blows up. So then they shift and they start to make meth within people's homes with the front of the the exterminating service?
Yes, yeah, I remember this, yes.
Okay, so the first house that they try this out on was my character's house.
Okay.
So I was the confused 30-something suburban dad who has, I need an exterminator. They're going to attempt my house, and whoa, what's up with all that poison that they're bringing in? So it was a small co-star, but it was a few pages, and it was just a joy, man. So I acted with the gentleman who played the head of the exterminating service, and I think he had a couple episodes.
Okay.
But Jesse Plemons was there, and he was the guy pushing from Friday Night Lights.
Right.
He was the guy pushing the. I don't know if it was his first episode. I don't know, but he was pushing the big vats of poison along with one of his other crewmates. But I remember that the morning of that shoot, I was very, very early and was in the food, the honey wagon where you can get some food, and they had breakfast foods out, and it was just me. It was like 5:30 in the morning. And it was just me, just getting a bagel, and kind of just taking it all in. And then I look behind me, and there's Bryan Cranston
Ugh.
with a sun hat on because he's prepared to like work all day in the desert,
Right.
and like a safari hat kind of brimmed thing, and he saw me see him, you know, and because I was like, oh, I don't want to be like that guy,
Right. Right.
Wow, that's the guy. He's so cool. And so he saw me see him, and then he put down his food and his coffee, and it was just him and I in this trailer. And he walked across the trailer and shook my hand and said, "Thank you so much for being here."
God.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me."
Right.
But I never forgot that how kind he was. Like he was, you could tell everyone on the crew and the cast, they were all very aware of the of the show that they were on, and that it was doing well, and they were proud of it, and they were happy to be there. Like there was a feeling of everyone really excited about what they were doing. And yeah.
Breaking.
Go ahead.
No, you go on.
Oh, one more really cool story about their kindness, I guess.
Oh, yes, please.
I worked for most of a particular week for that episode, and it started on a Monday. But Sunday, a couple days before that Sunday before, I got a call from the AD that, hey, they're having Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul have an annual bowling night.
Right.
They rent out a bowling alley, and do you know about this?
Yeah, I know, and they wear costumes.
Oh, they didn't this time.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
they normally do. But I had never heard of this. And they just rented out a bowling alley and with tons of food for, like 4 hours or so, and invited everyone to come with their families and bowl. And so I bowled with them, and it was it was so relaxed and so accessible. It was easy. It was cool. So
Nice.
I think the world of those guys.
Yeah, Breaking Bad is one of those shows that is great from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Because nothing against all the other shows in the world, but you'll have 1 or 2 seasons that's just like meh.
Yeah.
It was okay. But yeah, Breaking Bad. I think Breaking Bad, Mad Men.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other shows, but I know they're out there. Those shows are just like solid from beginning to end.
Yeah. Can I offer you another solid one?
Oh, yes, please.
Happy Valley. Have you heard of Happy Valley?
Happy Valley. Why does that sound familiar?
It's I saw it on Netflix. It's a British it's a BBC production. I think it's BBC. It's from England. It's about a woman, a middle-aged woman, and her sister. She's one of the women is a cop, and the other one is they live together. The sister has a job, but she's a recovering addict, and it's about a town somewhere. I'm thinking the northern England. I don't know the actual locale, but dealing with a particular crime, and I can't talk enough about it. The acting's phenomenal. The writing is great. The story is so good, and it's similar. Everything is so good. Every moment. It just ranks in the category that you're referencing.
Okay.
So I've recently discovered it. So I'm inviting you to check it out as well.
I will have to check that out. I'll put it on the list. I have a list of shows I have to watch.
Yeah.
But so we talked about Breaking Bad, which is great.
Yeah.
So then you're on 2 shows currently right now.
Yeah. Henry Danger, which is a Nickelodeon show. It's they're in their 4th season, and they're going strong, and they're also doing a spin-off cartoon, which is really cool, and then Fuller House.
Yeah, and so we'll go one by one. So as far as Harvey Danger goes, what was the audition process for that?
And it's Henry Danger.
Henry Danger. Sorry.
Yeah. No. It's totally fine. People do that a lot. Which is totally understandable.
I know of a movie called Harvey Danger, and I think I think Jesse Eisenberg is in it. Don't quote me.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
I won't.
But anyway, okay. So Henry Danger.
Henry Danger. Yeah. Do you know the story? Should I give a quick synopsis of the?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I take care of my niece and nephew, and they're not quite at that age where live action stuff appeals to them.
Yeah.
They're still in the the Peppa Pig, just cartoon stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for the day when they're like, you know what, let's watch Henry Danger. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's the basic premise is that there's a boy, Henry Hart. I think he starts out when he's 12. I think that's his beginning age, and he wants a part-time job. And so he's looking for one, and he sees in the I think the classifieds of the paper that there's a curiosity shop that is looking for the owner of a curiosity shop in his town. The town is called Swellview. Is looking for an assistant. So he goes to this curiosity shop and interviews. But what he finds out, and you find out very quickly, that the owner of the shop does indeed have this shop, and it is a working shop. But in the basement is the secret hideout and command center for hero Captain Man. So the head of the shop also has his superhero persona, and he the Captain Man, and he's actually using the interview process to find a new sidekick, or a sidekick to begin with.
Gotcha.
And so Henry Hart gets it and becomes Kid Danger. So Kid Danger and Captain Man fight crime in Swellview, and I am I'm one of the recurring villains that they have to deal with again and again and again. And it was great. I felt very fortunate. I still do. I feel incredibly fortunate to be a part of it. I'm going there tomorrow to do you asked about auditioning for it. It was maybe my first or second. I guess it wasn't the pilot because it was the 5th episode 105. But they were still introducing people. So they were looking for this guy, Dr. Minyak, and it's Minyak, Minyak, and people understandably mistaken it as Dr. Maniac, and he hates that. Not a maniac. He's a super genius. He's a super villain genius. And so it was fun to get to create that, and I tried to take everything as to the farthest extreme that I could, as you do, and still try to be honest. So I thought he needs to be from England. So that felt like a brave, fun choice. And so I did that and was lucky enough to get it. And it's been coming back and back and back. And I'm in love with all those people over there. It's so fun. The writing's so funny. It's smart. I think parents love it just as much as kids. And it's been great.
And so, are you great with accents?
I don't know if I'm great, but I have a lot of theater experience back east. So we just out of necessity, you have to do plays of all sorts. And so if you don't already know how to do it, just from being in the world and watching films or studying it in school, you have to learn it. So you get out the dialect tapes, or you use the patience of a dialect coach and you break it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I would be afraid of dropping character.
Yeah.
Or I might say water instead of water.
Yeah.
Something like that.
They do have a coach on staff to help look for all those things. So I don't know if he's helped me out with the accent, but in my life that's a thing. You have to if you raise the bar for yourself, you have to be very thoughtful. So yeah.
Nice. And so and it must be pretty cool playing a villain, just because I mean, not saying, because at the end of the day this is a kid's show, but villains have a different way of thinking than the hero.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as you've probably heard a lot of actors being interviewed about playing a bad guy or a villain, is they more often than not will hopefully talk about the villain doesn't think he's a villain.
Right.
I'm just going after something, and you can call it a villain because it's in conflict with what you want. But yeah, he's seeking notoriety as much as he possibly can, and within the parameters of a kid's world, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it's quite fun. It's quite fun, and I'm not that guy. Like I don't come across when in real life I mention this to people, and they're like, "You're a villain?" Like, well, he's just passionate and
Right.
about something that he shouldn't be seeking, and yeah. So, but yeah,
And
so
so
it works.
there you go. And so, how is that character? Obviously, it's going to be a lot different than the character you play on Fuller House. But what is, since you are doing multiple projects at one time, is it hard to keep the characters in line in your head?
No,
Okay.
no, that's a really good question too. I used to work for a repertory theater, and we would have like 4 or 5 plays in our head at any one
Okay.
time. And people would always ask that, how do you keep all that? How do you keep it all straight? And you get good in this particular career at categorizing things in the same way that any other career would do the same thing.
Hmm.
You get good at where things go, and what to file, where, either literally or metaphorically.
Hmm.
And yeah, you just get good at that. But um, no, it's not so bad. There's also lots of time between the two and the two different
Okay.
worlds. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's not
they're very different.
it's not like you bust onto the set of Fuller House and like, I'm gonna get you, Henry.
No, no, no.
I think I look. I'm just saying. I think that would be great, but
It would be good. Yeah,
to,
yeah. It really
uh,
make a
this is
great independent film.
yeah, yes. Don't listen to me. All right, I could ruin your career, so please don't
No,
listen to
okay, okay, okay.
me.
Yeah.
So now you're on, and then the other show we said you did, Fuller House, which is
Yeah,
I guess spin-off slash continuation of the original series.
yeah.
What now? What was the process of getting on that show?
That was the first episode of season 3, and it was a same day audition. Have you done those? Do
Mm-mm.
you?
I have not.
Okay, because you act as well, right? Am I right?
I've slowed down a lot now. I like air quotes act.
Okay, cool. Uh, it was a same day audition, which just it simply means that it's an audition that happens the same day that you get the audition.
Okay.
Um, and so there's often not a lot of time to prepare, and they are not always, but I would imagine I've been the majority of those auditions are for smaller parts that possibly, I don't know if this was the case, but possibly the writers are writing and rewriting and rewriting, and they decide as they try to solve problems in their script that's going to be shot the next day or the next week that, oh, we have to solve this problem by having someone come and bring in a pizza, or a smaller character that assists the story.
Yeah.
So this character, Mr. Beinberg, well, let me take a step backwards. One of the series in regulars is Jackson Fuller, played by Michael Cambion, who's just lovely.
Mm-hmm.
His character has finished junior high and is about to begin his summer that will then lead into his freshman year of high school. And he thinks he's going to have the most restful, relaxed, chill summer. He's just going to play video games and do whatever he wants, as one would hope at that age. But his mother, once he didn't do well in one of his classes, so she's like, "You need to go to summer school," and he's very upset about this. There's some fun conflict there. His world shifts 180 degrees, and then he has to go to summer school, and I am his teacher. And then what it works out is that then by the end of the season or midway through the season, he then goes to high school, his first year of school, and I am there again. So I guess I was already a high school teacher that was making some extra cash teaching summer school, you know.
Yeah.
But they have a lovely, they have a lovely descriptor by Michael's character Jackson, before he meets me, where he and a friend are talking about me, and he says, "Oh, I just saw him weeping in his smart car." So with that little bit of subtext, he's just got Mr. Weinberg. I think has not only like maybe one midlife crisis, but probably like 7 more that are all happening right now, and he still has to teach. And so the casting director said when I went in to audition for it at the end of a day of auditions for them, she said, I did it and she liked it, but then she said, hey, can you do it again, and can you let him be hanging by a thread? And that was such a beautiful direction. Mm-hmm. And so I did it again, and just as you do, just try to take it to the nth degree, and it proved useful, I guess. And that has been the thing that I remind myself of each time I go in for an episode is let him hang by a thread as he does this, and this. So, yeah.
I can't wait for the episode where it's just, oh, that thread is broken. It's
He's falling.
Yeah. And so, as a person who does a lot of character acting, is there one role, and I'm gonna go span between your entire career, that one character that you're like, man, I'd love to revisit that character?
Oh, wow. Revisit it.
Or even one that, you still think about.
I guess it's both the character, but also the production. The theater that I worked at for a long time is called the Barter Theater. Like, you barter for goods. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful theater. If you can go ever, if you're in the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia, go to it. It's awesome, and they're still doing beautiful work there. And we did a production of Our Town, mm-hmm. and do you know the play?
Vaguely, yeah.
Okay. And there's a choir director in it, mm-hmm. who is similarly issued. He's hanging by a thread, I think. And Our Town is beautiful in so many ways, but it's set in a small town, and there are just simple people with huge problems, just like in life, walking around all the time. And the play is just gorgeous. It gets ridiculously universal as it goes along. And this particular production was exquisite. These things don't come along often. Everyone brought their game, and we were invited to do so at the beginning of it. And I would do that. I would be in that production again and again and again, and doing that part and solving those problems. And yeah, man, it was. There was an audience member, well, not for this production, but in another production at that theater, who left and said to one of the actors, "Thank you for the sermon." Aww. It was her way of describing what she saw.
Yeah.
Transferring it in some sort of spiritual sense. And it was church, Yeah. It's good stuff. We all hope to do that in some way,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter what the thing is. But anyways.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yes.
If you could teleport yourself into any movie, television role ever made from the past up until today, what would it be and why?
Dead Poet Society.
Okay. Who would you be in that? Dead Poet Society.
Oh, man. Any of those guys.
Okay.
Any of them. Robert Sean Leonard's character, I, of course, have forgotten the character's name, but do you know what I'm referencing?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I saw that when I was the age of the character.
Okay.
Was shaking after the movie. The timing of that film was just gigantic to me. And, Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No, being able to work with Robin Williams would also be,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. For the people at home who'd like to keep up with the work you do, where can they do that?
I got a website that's just simply mikeostrowski.com. It's my first and last name.com. And I'm on Instagram at Ostrowski and Twitter at Mike Ostroski. And yeah, those would be good, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Mike, thank you so much for chatting with me. I hope you had fun. I had fun.
Yeah, I totally did. Thanks so much, man, for taking your time and having me on. It's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And enjoy your trip to Portland.
Yeah.
Uh,
Gonna go Salt and Straw.
oh, yeah. And are you going to go to Voodoo Donuts?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. I've
Okay.
heard of that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge sweets guy, but I know some people in this world like sweets. So
Yeah.
get a maple bar. Get a maple bar
Okay.
with bacon.
And go to Powell's with the maple bar and bacon.
And then look through all the books with sticky fingers and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you for the advice.
Yeah, no problem. Again, don't take my advice.
Okay.
You're going to ruin your career if you do.
Hey, and congrats on the podcast, man. It's really great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's still been going strong, so I'm happy about that. And it's still fun to do.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great.
But I will let you go and have a wonderful day. All right, dude?
All right, man. You too. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.